Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing wear. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal & Clark, and Kenningston paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here, along with all the accessories to go with them. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store. All right, welcome back to another edition of the Goblay Show. I'm your host, Billy Goble, and today we have not one but two special guests. They're brothers, and so without further ado, we want to welcome Mr. Kaden and Kail Ellis. Guys, welcome to the show.
What's up? It's good to be here. Yes, sir. Good to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys could. You guys are pretty busy with all the football going on. And,
yes, sir.
I just thought it'd be cool to have somebody different that's kind of doing a transition of of going to college on the way in, because there's a lot of talk about what goes on and how that works, and but we'll get into all of that. But I just want to thank you guys for coming over,
of course, sir.
And so normally you guys are a little bit younger than most of my guests. So what I like to do is, go back and see, obviously your love is football because you guys are, going to school for that soon. When, tell me about the first time that you remember playing football, like any kind of organized football.
It goes back to those Pop Warner days, just playing with the guys like George, like just those childhood guys that you still got friendships, like relationships with, and just going back to those. I've always fell in love with football. I mean, always doing those hitting drills and tackling and all that. And, it's been a part of my life,
right.
from my dad, and he's taught it to us. I mean, it just goes back to those days, and I mean, I've never fell out of love. I mean, it's just one of those sports that people say it's the best game on earth. So right. I mean, it's just it's a game that a lot of people love to watch and everything. So I mean, it goes back to those days, and just from being a little kid to now, just shows you how much football really means to me and Kail. I mean, right. You can, I think you can tell, but it's one of those things that it's so hard not to fall in love with football. Right. So
right, everybody loves that. Everybody loves football. I mean, when you don't know the game, it's you want to learn it.
Yeah.
It's not like I try to learn soccer or hockey, and I like hockey, but soccer I just can't. I can't. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can go to a game; it's a good atmosphere, but there's nothing like football.
No, there's not.
Kail, what about you?
I hate to say it, but my first memory was probably being on the Buffaloes. I think I was like 5.
Yeah.
My dad was coaching, Coach Mo, all them guys. That was probably my earliest memory of football. I had a good time. I mean, I was playing center. Caden was playing quarterback, so it was pretty cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, I remember those days. Wasn't very long ago. I coach my stepson. He's on the Wolfpack, and to see the kids progress every year is a pretty cool thing. I started, his first year was 8U when he was, because you do 2 years in every year. So his first year of 8U, he was, little guy, and he was a center. And he was, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they got him snapping. It's like, this ain't going to be too good. But he learned how to do it, and he does it pretty well. He did it all this year. And people think it's really simple to just hike the ball. But there's so much technique, and you just have to practice it, But he does it great, a great job, and he's got to play a little bit of linebacker too. So just those days are so influential. Mm-hmm. I mean, you as a coach too, like I take full pride in teaching these kids how to do things the correct way, right. And I preach technique because I tell the kids all the time, I say, you can be not the strongest guy on the field, but if you know how to do it correctly, yep. You know what I'm saying? You're way better off than a guy that's just trying to use brute strength. Mm-hmm. I mean, it does help to have brute strength, yep. But if you know the correct way to do it, and those little cheat codes, like, hey, instead of doing it this way, why don't you try to do it this way? And you're not doing as much to do what you're doing to begin with. So, but those early years are very, 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 like I said, inspiring to keep you motivated in the game, to keep you focused on what's to come. Because, next step is middle school years, and then you get to high school and you try to make a name for yourself. Yeah. Basically, it's just one big audition, So you were down here, and then you moved to Georgia. Tell me what it's like up in Georgia football, because I've never even seen a game in Georgia. So tell me a little bit about.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, watching all the South Sumter games and all the Florida high school games was pretty awesome. Just playing Pop Warner and being on the Wolfpack and idolizing those guys like Keanu and watching them on the sideline and stuff was pretty awesome. But coming up to Georgia, I would say this is my argument. I say Florida has better skill guys, but Georgia's different, like in the trenches. I say that's the big thing I realized. Like the kids are just massive up there. Like when we moved up there, I mean it was a different level, I would say. Right. But high school football it's pretty cool up in Georgia. And the big fan bases, like you see Valdosta in South Georgia, then you got all those Gwinnett schools like Grayson, Buford. Move over to our area, Cartersville is a big time school. So I would just say like the atmospheres of the games and the size of the kids. I would just say that's a big difference from Florida.
I'd say well, as a D lineman, you go against these big guys, which Florida has those guys, but I'm with Kail. I think Florida has the athletes, but we got Georgia's got the big guys. South Georgia's a bunch of dogs. Yeah, I mean, you got kids from Savannah Christian, Coffee County, all those guys, and Coffee County is not that big, but I mean it's hard-nosed football. I mean, right. I kind of say like South Sumter, how I mean, it's hard-nosed football. Coaches, I mean, but yeah, no, as a D lineman, those big guys, I'd say Georgia's got those big powered linemen, like you're just 6'6". Yeah. Like our team, I mean, we averaged 6 foot and 300. I mean, you got big guy. I mean, you got 3 Power 5 college offered kids. I mean, it's just, it's. I like to say it's different, but I mean, everybody's different. It's just. But no, I think Georgia's got some big powered linemen. So
Georgia always, I mean, even like the University of Georgia, I know they get a lot of homegrown kids. They get guys that are just down the road, and they know those powerhouses in Georgia that they can get kids from. And it's not just Georgia, but there's other. I mean, Florida does the same thing. They always recruit. Back in the day, University of Miami, they recruited everything south of. They never went north of I-4. So basically, I-4 runs east to west. Go to Tampa to Daytona. Anything south of there, that was their territory. They didn't go north. But see, all these big name guys that you hear, Deion Sanders, and, Michael Irvin, all these guys that were down in Miami area that became superstars. and eventually Hall of Famers are from, that area. So it helps to recruit, local.
Yeah.
It's funny because people say, they always say, shop local. I mean, that goes not just for business wise, but it also goes for, recruiting for your team.
Yep.
So where do you guys live in? I mean, you don't have to give me an exact area, but what county, what school?
It's Cherokee. So we're out of district. So I mean, our school is like Bartow County, but we're kind of like on the line of Bartow and Cherokee.
How far is that from Atlanta?
About 45. I'd say 45 minutes.
Without traffic.
Yeah,
now with traffic, you hit that 75 traffic in Atlanta. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. So much people.
Whether your water is supplied by a public municipality or a private well, for residential or commercial use, Purified Water Services LLC has the solutions to provide you with simply clean water. We offer a complete line of professional water filtration equipment and accessories. Soft water makes a difference you can see and feel. Water heater and appliances last longer with less maintenance. Iron and H2S filters eliminate iron stains and offensive rotten egg odors and protects your water softener equipment from iron fouling. No matter what your problem is, Purified Water Services LLC has a solution. Contact Kenny Williams at 352-446-2709. But it is beautiful up there.
Yeah, it is.
When I would go to see Keanu at camp, he was in Flowery Branch, and it was beautiful up there.
Yeah.
'Cause, you're getting more north, and I think as far as as long as you pass, I think it's as soon as you get out of Florida, it seems like it's better.
Yeah.
Geographical wise, like you start feeling like, hey, I'm not in the South. And I mean, I'm in the South, but I'm not. I'm going more north. The elevation gets a little bit.
It's crazy
higher.
how many mountains are up in the area.
So much
especially
hills.
by us.
Oh yeah.
So much hills, so much mountains.
Do y'all use that for when football? Do y'all do conditioning on hills and stuff?
So we actually have a hill.
Oh really?
In our neighborhood.
Oh okay.
So when I was healthy, me and Kail would just, hey, let's go outside, let's go run hills.
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
Wow.
So we use those stuff to our advantage.
Right.
Just sitting in the house, not doing it. Like, hey, let's go. Let's go work.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the things, like having a brother like that. I mean,
helps motivate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We both do things like, hey, like the other day, hey, you want to go work out? Yeah, let's go work out. Hey, let's go condition, all this stuff. So I mean, it's just it's one of those things. But yeah, we use those stuff to our advantage. Just doing whatever we can to get better.
Right. I think it's important to have that work ethic. Because you can have all the talent in the world, and but that's only going to get you so far.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't have that, I mean, and later on in your life, your sports career is going to end. Whether it be you're too old, or whatever, you just run out of time. But when you get older, and that work ethic, that's going to make you a better husband,
It leads to other things.
father, right? So I think it's important to start young. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and that's a good thing. That's a good example to show other people, especially other kids your age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's something that was instilled, like your dad would preach? I'm gonna pick on your dad because him and I go way back. What's something that your dad has preached to you that you can go, you know what, like I can tell you something my dad, would say, and one of his things he would say is take care of the people that take care of you. You know what I mean? Something like that. What is something that your dad has told you that you can just go, hey, that's my dad? When even if somebody else said it, you go, hey, my dad said the same thing.
I would say, I mean, he preaches discipline in everything, whether it's, working out, school, what you eat, what you drink. Like he preaches discipline a lot. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest things that he's taught us for a long time.
Right.
I mean, going back to the Pop Warner stuff. I remember I was overweight by because the weight limit was 100 pounds, it was
Right.
like 70 or something like that, and he made me run around the house in a trash bag trying to drop weight.
Oh my God.
And then I went back on the scale. It was like 99.6 or something like that.
The things that he made us do just to make us play, it was crazy.
But y'all would be glad to hear they don't even do weigh-ins anymore.
Yeah,
it's all about
it's crazy.
When's your birthday?
Yeah.
There's kids that don't know their birthday. They're like,
Jeez, look.
you're like, you don't know your birthday?
It's crazy.
What is something that what's your?
He says this all the time. Don't be a follower, be a leader. You know, and that's been instilled in us since we were 5 years old. I mean, he always tells us to lead a path, make our own path. Don't follow another path.
Right.
Make your own path. Make a name for yourself. Don't follow somebody else. And me and Kail, we've always listened to that. We've always had that instilled in us, and I feel like we're making our own path now. Just just our own path where we want to show other people what we've been doing and everything, what we're about to do. And I mean, it's what he's always instilled in us, and I kind of take that in a lot. Is be a leader, not a follower.
Well, that's a good rule of thumb to live by, because I mean, I feel like if you just follow people, then you'll never get to experience anything. You'll never be creative.
Right.
Thank God there's other people that have stepped outside the boundary, or we wouldn't have anything, because everybody would be comfortable and they would be like, we're good. We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to be who you are.
Yeah.
And another good lesson to learn is, if someone is, there's an old saying, I think it was Maya Angelou said, if someone shows you who they are, believe them, because there's a lot of people that want to come in your life and pretend to be something that they're not, or want you to think that. And then you realize that all along that was an act, that was not who they said they were. But just little things like that. As long as you remember those things, and when you get older and you progressively start to you make your own decisions on your life. Remember, it's all about you. We can't. I tell the kids all the time, we can't do this for you. You have to do it. And and it's your decision. If you decide to do it, then you're going to be, it is what it is. It's your choice. But you can't say we did it for you and then you didn't succeed. It was all about you. Yeah. So if you don't put in the work, if you don't put in the time, whose fault is that? You can't point fingers at somebody else.
It's either you love it or you hate it.
Yep.
Right.
You got to realize that at an early age if that's what you want to do. That's what we had to realize is do you like this? Is this what you want to do? Okay, then you got to put in the work to accomplish it.
Right.
If you don't like it, then another thing my dad says, if he'd be fully invested if we want to be the best drum major in the band or swimmer or whatever. We don't have to play football, but that's what we want to do. So he's going to invest all of his time and his money to help us succeed. And again, it starts with us. If that's what you want to do, then go at it full speed. You got to love it. So
right. Yeah, I remember when I did the podcast with your dad. That's one of the things he mentioned. He said, he's talking about your sister, how. When she's into volleyball, and he said, "Look, it's all fine and dandy when if you just want to play it recreationally, but if we really want to get into it, you need to make up your mind and make your decision on what you want to do. Yep. Do you really want to do this? And if so, we will put the time in and the money, to make your dream a reality. But again." The other side of that is she has to want to do it. Yeah. You guys have to want to do it. So he can only go so far. Again, he can't do it for you, but he can help as much as he can.
Yeah, my dad's the one that kind of pushes us, and he's always on us. And then our mom is like that too, but she's also, we can go to both of them and talk about our problems. Like if we're like working out and stuff and doing that 24/7, and football is your life, and recruiting is very stressful. So there's a lot of times where I'm stressed out and I just need somebody to talk to, and they're amazing parents, and you can go to them whenever and talk to them. So that's very helpful that we have that, because like witnessing right now with being close to signing day, recruiting is just it's a lot.
It's a pain.
It's a lot,
especially for him. You gotta think, Kail. I'm not trying to say he's, because being his brother. I'm not trying to be biased, but he's the best center in the country.
Yeah,
and you can see that work ethic, all that. It's not. Film's right there, but in my opinion, with work ethic and everything, he's #1 center in the nation, which it shows. But like Vandy, on him and on him and on, just like this, it's crazy. But it's just getting closer and closer. Like Delaware's still trying to talk to me, but I'm closed in on that. I ain't going nowhere. And it's just how it is. And I get it, but it's just how it is.
For almost 30 years, 75 Chrome Shop has been a family-run business with a dedicated team of longtime employees. We stay ahead of the curve in the ever-changing trucking industry, providing top-notch customer service and product knowledge. Whether you're looking for the latest chrome accessories or hard-to-find parts, we've got you covered. We offer aftermarket chrome for all big rigs, custom vinyl lettering, acrylic signs, and tags. Our 10,000 square foot facility, the oldest chrome shop in the South, houses a mechanic shop for oil and tire changes and chrome installation. Plus, we have a huge selection of lights for every vehicle on the road. Don't miss our annual truck show every April, featuring over 200 trucks and family-friendly entertainment. Visit 75 Chrome Shop today, your truck's new best friend. I'm going to tell you a little story, and then I want to get into why you were doing your position or how you got the position you are. But there's when Dion's kids were doing the whole recruiting, it happens to everybody. They're all recruiting, even though Dion's kid went with him to Colorado. He took him to Southern Miss because Southern Miss offered him. So he goes down there, and it's not the traditional. You got to make your own way there. He flew in a helicopter down there, and he met with Brett Favre. It helps to have connections, and that's a good dad, just using his platform. He's talking to Brett Favre, because he went to Southern Miss, and Brett Favre said something I'll never forget. He said, "Look, it doesn't matter where you go." He goes, "You can go to Slippery Rock University. They're going to find you. If you're that good, they're going to find you." And I feel like it's such a game of cat and mouse that our kids lose sight of what really is important. And I don't want to get into the whole, financial side of it, but when why are you going there? It's like remember The Blind Side?
Yeah.
And he told the lady, he said, you're asking me all these questions, but you never asked me why I wanted to go. Why do you want to go where you want to go? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if you don't know, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a real problem.
Yep.
If you don't have any kind of idea what you're about to step into for the next commitment of 4 years. And it's scary because a kid that, and I say kid, I don't mean any offense, but a kid, because you are kids till you can't even rent a car yet. You're not 25 yet. I'm just kidding. No, but I say kids. When these kids, these athletes, these students get into a university and they can't make it a year, what's that gonna be like in their life? In their life, are they going to be able to commit to one person for the rest of their life? You know what I'm saying? Like it's helpful. And look, I get things happen. I'm not bashing on anybody. Things happen, and they need to rearrange things, but it all works out. Things happen for a reason, and you got to remember that, guys. Things happen for a reason, and don't be afraid to hear the word no.
So,
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because I told somebody this the other day. I was like, no is not a bad thing. I tell Jace this all the time. I go, just because I say no doesn't mean I'm mad or I don't want you to have it. I say no because you may not be ready for it.
Yeah.
A young kid would want to be on social media. Are they ready for that? Do you really want to expose them to that? Yeah.
Exactly.
There's going to be a time where that happens. But do you really want to expose them to something like that when they're still, look, be a kid. Be a kid while you can.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could come back. I wish I freaking was 5 years old again. I mean,
Yep. So do I, brother.
I think me and Kail could both say that. I can't wait to be an adult, all this. Nah, just to get 5 more minutes of being a kid.
I want to sit at the big kids table or the adult table. You spend all your life at the kids table. And you two probably look like Elf.
Oh,
the other two
no, we do still sit at the kids' table.
We do. We do.
You need to tell Grandpa Dale to build a bigger table for us.
Oh, God.
He would.
Yeah, he would.
I know he would. That's the point. But you know what I'm saying. You get the gist of that. I mean, it's little things like that you can't forget. And things will happen. And I'm not saying don't live your life, but live your life by a set of rules that you have come up with. You can listen to advice, but advice is only as good as if you use that or not. And if it doesn't work out, you can't blame that person that gave the advice because it might have worked out for them, but it may not work out for you. So you have to, we all have choices.
Yeah.
So moving right along, let me go with each one of you, and I will start with Kate. About when did you realize I want to play defense?
I'm just gonna be honest.
Yes, be honest.
Got a little too big, and that was a quarterback, and it's out of nowhere. I plopped up, got big, fat. I wouldn't say fat, but I got big, and I always hated like Pop Warner. I was like, what? I want to play quarterback. Like I told Dad, I was like, why am I playing defense and offensive line? Why? I was like, I was the best quarterback that y'all had. And then, Pierce, Story, all of them, played with them. So, I mean, I was big, and I was bigger than them. And I finally realized I wanted to play defense in middle school. 6th grade, because, we were too big and we didn't play. I think my last year was 3rd grade. And I didn't play again until 6th grade. And, I played defensive, offensive line. And, that next year, I went into training. And, that first training, I was like, yeah, I like it. This is what I want to do. And I stuck with it. When I stick with something, I don't know how to say it, but like when I stick with something, I work on it. And
you tweak it.
Yeah.
You try to make it just like anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've fell in love with my position. Because I feel like I've turned it into not like something. Like it was nothing to something, and that I've always loved hitting somebody. So
right.
I could probably answer that for him too. I could probably just say, D linemen usually don't use their heads, so they just go into everything full speed, and he hits everything full speed. So I think his personality and how he does everything is the perfect example of a defensive lineman.
Gotcha. Just headstrong, like just full speed ahead like a juggernaut.
Yeah, I don't know why he says that we don't use our heads, dog.
Hey, you just got to remember what gap to go in.
Oh yeah, that's our only assignment.
That's right. I try to I tell our kids, because I was a D-line coach, and trying to distinguish the A, B, and C gap, and I'm like, man, I was like, guys, you're overthinking this too much. Just remember, if on the center, those are 2 A gaps on both sides, and then you go A, B, C, or A, B, C, and it's so it's so crazy. Now, listen, I don't know what I would have been able to obtain at 10 years old. I don't know if I would have got it either. But as an adult trying to say, look, this is ABC, and it's like, you should know this. Like, this is common knowledge.
You'd be surprised with the kids in high school. They still struggle
It's
with
crazy.
it. Yeah, it's crazy.
It really is.
Insane.
It's crazy because, you think, I'm not trying to make you look stupid. And I'm not trying to sound like you're stupid.
Yeah.
But it's like the more you simplify it, the worse it feels because you don't want to treat them like they have no IQ at all.
Yeah.
You're like A, B, C.
Yeah. Just try to get into their brain. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy.
Yeah. It's crazy. But how about O-line? Of all things, Jace, and I just, I didn't know it was center. I thought you were a guard, but it's center.
So high school, I started, like my freshman year, I played tackle, but they just moved me to center because we had some snapping problems. So, I played center. I played everything in middle school. Like, I started at center, and then I moved to, I played tackle. We ran our wing T in middle school, so it was like, just you could play whatever, just plug in. But, I would always say, I was one of the biggest kids growing up, and I always played up because Kaden was my older brother, so I always played up with the older guys, and I was still one of the biggest kids. But I would also say I probably stuck on O-line because Kaden was always the mean one. I was always the nice one, and I was very soft when I was younger, and even going into middle school. So I would just say, just sticking with that. And I tried to fall in D-line with Kaden because I wanted to be like him in middle school and play D-line, but it just didn't work out. And then I took my first training session, probably 8th grade at offensive line at our facility up in Georgia, and I liked it, so I just wanted to stick with it, see where I could go, and yeah.
Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. So now we're going to move on to the two universities that this is going to air after. That you signed with. So we'll start with we'll go with Big Brother first. What made you decide on App State?
All right. So as you know, Trevor.
That's right.
Went to App.
Pat. Tim and Pat and I. Yep.
All those guys. Going and I so when Trevor was there, right, I went to a game. We went up there for Thanksgiving.
Right.
Georgia Southern game.
Okay.
Got as a fan, wasn't even a recruit. They weren't even recruiting me. And this was my freshman year, sophomore year, freshman year. And so we went, I'll say this all the time because App State's fans are different from any university from Auburn. App State's fans are crazy. Crazy. And you can tell that the atmosphere is just insane.
Yeah.
And so my first time as a recruit was the ECU game. I think it was the ECU game. And right after that, because I was already offered, right after that I committed. I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And you get like the energy. Which App State, I like to say this. App State is a family. Doesn't matter what you do. Like App State did my surgery. That tells you a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And the fans, like when they love you, like as soon as you come in, they're gonna love you.
Yeah.
That's how they are.
Right.
And so I fell in love with that. I fell in love with the atmosphere. I fell in love with the tradition. Like, and it's a winning program. Like
right.
that program has been a winning program for a very long time. And I love the coaches, which you can't go to a place for the coaches.
Right.
Which everybody knows that. But I fell in love with the university itself. The school, the people. People are like very nice people. Like treat you like their own, as soon as you come in. But no, the atmosphere and the family like stuff is what I like, is what I liked about it. And from that day on, I've it's been over a year since I've been committed. So I mean, that shows you how much I love App.
Well, I want to piggyback before we get to Kail, and just to tell you what I think of App State. I think it's, like you said, you hit the right on the head. It's a great program. Their fans love their team. I went and supported. I didn't get to see Trevor play, but I went to 3 games for Pap. I went to the Dollar General Bowl, which was crazy, in Mobile. I went to 2 away games. I never got to see App State at home, which I was very. So I'm coming to see it. But anyways, because I want to see a home game there. But got to tour the stadium, been there, beautiful campus, beautiful city, especially in the fall. Unlike here, they have seasons. So I went to 2 of the games where we went to Georgia Southern, and that was when. Debo Grant was before he transferred. He was but he had tore his ACL, so he's on the sideline on crutches. But Pap's playing, and App State didn't even score. Like, they got shut out, right? But Georgia Southern's got this huge gun in the end zone. It's because it's a military town. But there's a base there. And they shot that gun off, and I thought, I felt my soul leave my body. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, because you weren't expecting it. I just thought it was like a decoration or something, But 31, I think it was 31-0. They beat them. Just shut out. Fans are talking trash, and I'm like, of course, where do they stick us? Student section.
Yeah, that's rough. Any college student section's rough.
Yeah, any college section, any school, the student section is rough. But had an experience there, which all in all, it was fun because I do love. I'm not a confrontational person. I hate confrontation. So if I see somebody arguing, I'll leave the room. Yeah. Because I don't want to.
That's how I am.
First of all, I don't want to be there when it escalates. And 2, I don't want to be a witness. Yeah. Because then that's when all the real drama starts.
That's exactly how I am.
Right. So, but I loved going into Georgia Southern with my App State gear on, going to a restaurant. They probably spit in our food.
Golly. I'll say this. App fans, so that student section, so when we played JMU, I don't know if you saw it, but it snows, a snow game. Snowballs, throwing them at JMU, just throwing them, pelting them, darting them. I'm like, which I wasn't at the game, but I saw videos. Like, oh my God, this is insane. But yeah, it's freaking, and it's the student section. I mean, those guys are freaking crazy.
Of course, it's a crazy atmosphere. But like I said, they had just built on I guess that'd be the south end zone, I think. Whatever. It was one of the end zones. The one with the big jumbotron there. And when Pap was there, they were just starting to fix that part. But beautiful weight room went in there. Locker rooms were amazing. It's a great facility for anyone to go to. But the other story I want to tell you is we went to Coastal Carolina. Got to see him play on the turquoise field they have there, which is cool. They won. Cool. They won. So all in all, I'm 2-1 with Pap. So I figured I'm considered a good luck charm, I guess, when I show up. But I didn't realize how close to Myrtle Beach it was. So we just stayed in Myrtle Beach and drove to Coastal Carolina. But I just like to go to different colleges. And Coastal Carolina is actually a friend of mine went to school there, and she was in the theater program. And we went there, and I did headshots for everybody when I was doing my photography. And just a cool little college town, like a miniature version of Gainesville. Wasn't real big, but it wasn't like so small, like Palm Beach Atlantic or something like that, where it's really, really small. But yeah, but like you said, those are the places that you want to go to and be a part of. It's something that that's something that you'll never forget.
No, you'll never forget.
Yeah.
It's that atmosphere is just, again, something you'll never forget. Those fans are absolutely insane. And you gotta think, like, they say this, you can hear the when it's a game day, you can hear it miles down the Appalachian Mountains. You can hear it,
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Being on a mountain.
Right.
You just get all those seasons. All that stuff is pretty cool.
Oh, and guess what? You have to get used to running up that mile, that hill.
God.
And I did that in a car, and I'm like, no freaking way, dude. And Pap's like, yeah, we had to do that twice a year, once a year, whatever.
Yeah, it's twice a year.
Twice a year.
So we do that in January, February, something before spring.
Yeah.
And then before fall camp.
Right. So we went up in the car to see what it was like, and he's like, yeah, we do this on foot. And I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, literally, like, it was like you had the gas pedal down and it's like an incline. You're like, it's just like you're like you don't want to go too fast because you don't know what could happen.
No, yeah.
You're like, if I go too slow, I'm going to go back down the mountain.
I'm ready for it, but I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Yeah. It's but I totally forgot about that too. You just said mountains and it clicked. Like, I'm like, oh my god, we went up that mountain and it was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Kail, what about you?
I would just say, like, the family atmosphere that Auburn gives off. Everybody, like, the players, you see it in the locker room all the time. It's just everybody's close and has a great bond. You don't see that everywhere. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Kaden said, "Don't go to college for the coaches." It's definitely true because how much coaches move around nowadays.
Right.
But I would just say, like, part of me committing was the trust I have in the coaches and them staying there, and the coaches that are there, they're real people. Like, some colleges, they put on a recruiting face, and you want to play for real coaches that'll tell you the truth and tell you what you're doing wrong, and but also will love on you at the same time. So I'd say that was huge. And I don't know, have you ever been to an Auburn football game?
Duto Realty is a homegrown business with an eye for getting the job done right. From football games to Sunday school and everything in between, these ladies care about our community and the people in it. Helping buyers and sellers in all of Florida with all types of transactions, including residential, commercial, farm, or vacant land. They do it all. They even offer auction services and sellouts to always get the job done right. I have not. I will say this, not to keep you from talking, but my brother is in Prattville.
Okay. Yep.
So he coaches at Prattville. He's an O-line coach.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, when I was supposed to go up and visit him, and it didn't work out, but he was like, yeah, you want to go to an Auburn game? And I'm like, oh, I'd love to go. Yeah. Just to say I've been.
Yep.
But when he said Auburn, I'm thinking, I didn't know that was an actual city name. Like, it's the actual name of the city. It is. I just thought he was talking about the university. I'm like, where's that located? Like, what town? Like, I'm thinking like Gainesville, Florida.
Yep.
No, he's like, no, it's Auburn. I'm like, oh crap! I didn't even know that's the real name of the place.
No, it's a pretty city. And then Opelika is right next to it, and that's a real nice place over there too. It's a nice area. Again, the campus is beautiful. That definitely contributes to why I chose to go there, but I would just say, like, the family thing. I think App and Auburn relate very close to each other. Like, me and Kaden, obviously, we see the same things in colleges, and that's the reason we're going there. So, like, App State's a wonderful place. I know he knows Auburn's a wonderful place. So I'll just say, the family atmosphere at Auburn is the big thing why I'm going there.
What are you going to do when Auburn plays App State one day?
I'm going to love it. Yeah, me and Kaden head to head, that would be awesome.
You're going to go, I know this D lineman right here doesn't have any brain power. He's not going to use his
I know there's one. I know Mom and Dad would love that. They would
Yeah, that would
kill for that.
Be cool.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it's like, especially like it's even cooler in the pros because
Oh yeah, you saw Jim and John Harbaugh just played this past what was it, Monday night?
Yes, Monday night. Then that was called
cool.
the Harbaugh Bowl. They have it, and of course, it's right at Thanksgiving. And both of them, they're going to be at Thanksgiving Day. They're going to. They may not. Who knows? But I like to think them being at the Thanksgiving Day table, going. What happened, man? What was going on?
Oh yeah, that'd be like me and him.
Do you guys talk a lot of smack? Do you guys talk about does that help motivate? It's considered brotherly love.
Yeah.
You guys like to pick on each other or anything. Does that happen a lot?
We
do.
We do. I wouldn't say like we, like talk smack like, oh yeah, I'm gonna whoop your tail. Like
it's not like all the time. Like we love on each other sometimes, but like when he's making me mad, I'm gonna show my anger, and we get into some altercations sometimes.
Yeah, we do sometimes, but that happens. It's all love.
Yeah, but I thought he was the one with the anger issues. Remember you said?
Yeah,
he is, but I have a lot of patience most of the time. But he knows how to get under my skin. So
it's pretty easy. So if we ever play against each other, I know how to get in there.
It's all mind games.
Exactly.
You're like, yeah. Let me get right in that. So let me ask y'all this. Y'all, I know y'all play NCAA.
Yeah.
So, who's your go-to team? Is it your teams, or do you have a?
I use Auburn a lot, but like when I play online, Miami has a really good team on the game.
Yeah,
like I like using Cam Ward and the Damian Martinez, the running back. He's a good player, and they have some good receivers. I'm like a big offensive guy, so I try to check all the plays and do all that stuff. I think that's a big reason why I play center. So I'd say Miami, like Missouri's a good team to use on there.
Yeah.
I use App State a lot, but
I know
the Auburn fans and this guy's not gonna like it, but I play with Alabama.
Every game is Alabama.
Yeah, which I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah,
Alabama's got a good defense. 4-2-5. They're running 4-2-5 on NCAA. I like that.
Kaden, you can switch that and pick the App State defense on there, right? Like you can change the
the App State playbook,
or you can get App State playbook and Alabama's defense, right? Yeah.
Well, I like Alabama's offense.
Yeah, I know.
He likes Jalen Monroe. He cheeses around.
That's freaking.
Yeah.
Oh well, I wouldn't say I run with them. When there's not an open spot, I'm running. That's just what I'm doing.
I can't lie. I do the same thing with Arkansas's quarterback.
Jalen Green.
Yeah. What Jason and I do is we'll do. I call it Russian roulette. I'll. You got the random button. We'll click it 10 times. Click, 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 and then when they get to the 10th time, whoever it is, say it's Boise State. You can either take them, or you can click 5 more times. But and then you get to pick.
Yep.
But if you really want to gamble it, you click it another 5 times, and that's who you have to have. So it's a gamble. You could get somebody really bad, like Bowling Green or something. But
Ball State.
So or like Tulane or something like that on the game. But I had UTEP one time. I'm like, oh, nice. But what we do is, and so we would randomize that, and he had someone one day against, I think it was Iowa. And I like the game even like when we go to I made sure it was in Iowa because they do the thing where the
stadium pulse.
They wave to the kid. Well, they wave to the kids. They actually do that in real life, and I thought that was really cool how they wave to the kids in the children's hospital.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Which is cool.
That's pretty cool.
But I would run around with him. Arkansas. I had Arkansas. Run around with him, and he's like, let me guess, you're gonna run the ball. And I'm like, you know it, baby. I'm gonna roll right. I'm gonna roll out, and I'm just gonna take off.
Yeah.
Nobody. Hey, if you know I'm gonna do it, then stop it.
Kail don't like playing against me.
Well, I just have to. Sometimes I forget to set a QB spy, and then he just runs with Jalen around. It's like
it don't matter because at the same time, these past 5 times I've gotten the hang of it. When NCAA first came out, I was terrible.
Yeah.
I got the hang of it. Found my team.
There you go.
Can't stop me. Cannot stop me.
I'm going to tell you someone who you don't want to play against is Darian Williston. Big Darian.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, man.
He's good.
Oh my gosh, he treats it like okay. So you know how if you're on defense, he'll pick. You can't, whatever. He picks his defense. He'll be like, all right, hold on a second, hold on. He's shifting guys over.
Yeah,
he's that guy. He's that guy. He's like, hold on a minute, hold on.
I just shift him very serious. I shift him in.
I just shift the D line left or right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you can tell Darian does that. I can just tell by. I think I've played him in Madden. He came when we still lived down here. Him and Keanu were pretty close. So I think Darian came over to the house with Keanu one time. And we played like a Madden tournament. I think.
Oh yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah,
that
we used to have those tournaments, which we still do. But,
it's a cool thing. But it was Madden that we played because NCAA it was in that brief 10-year break where they didn't make one, but it was Madden. He's like, hold on a minute. And I'm like, him and Chance came over, and I was like,
yeah, big Chance.
Yeah, I was like, Darren, I got to pick a play, man. He's like, hold on. I'm like, I got 5 seconds, man. I got to snap the ball.
That's funny.
Chance visits a bunch when we. I mean, he's visited when we lived up in Georgia, and he's always trying to play the game. Like we played Madden a bunch too. 2K. He always he likes to talk some smack.
Yeah, he does.
Darian does too. Darian and Chance love to talk smack on the game.
Chance. I remember me and Chance played a game. That guy was just talking like I was like, dude, it's just a game. Come on, why you gotta trash talk?
Jace, the night, this is the day before the draft, when Carson was eligible, he came over and we played Madden.
Mm-hmm.
And he played Jace. Jace was like, I'll take you on, and he beat the living daylights out of Jace. It wasn't even funny. He was like one of those, like at halftime you turn it off, you're like, all right, I'm done. There's no way I can come back from this.
Yeah, we like to say 21 skunk. Like you get to 21 points over 20. Like if you're beating the guy 21, like over 21, game's over.
Game over.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, speaking of NCAA and you guys, your positions, who is somebody that you like, a player that you grew up watching? You go, now I know there's not a lot of centers, but is there a player that even you like that you both wanted to emulate or something like that? Even when you were like playing in Pop Warner or in the backyard, who were you every time?
There's 2 guys in mind. I mean, we're all the same size, but they're in the NFL, but. Grady Jarrett and Aaron Donald, which Aaron Donald's not, he retired, but I feel like, which my dad said, a lot of people, I'm not saying a lot of people say this, but me and my dad both say it because we can agree on. I feel like I play my games just like Grady Jarrett. I mean, we're both the same, kind of like the same size.
Yeah.
We both have that sawed off, like we're sawed off, but I mean, I feel like we both play the same game, and I've always looked up to Grady.
Yeah.
Just the twitch. A lot of people say I have twitch, and Grady Jarrett has that twitch. And
he's a big man.
Yeah, he is, and you can tell. So was Aaron Donald. I mean,
right.
But I take my game to those 2 guys. I used to watch. Like. I was a little kid, just middle school, watching YouTube, just doing that stuff. And I'd watch Grady or Aaron Donald highlights, just watching that stuff because I enjoyed it, just watching those guys work moves, and I've always liked to try to play my game like them.
All right. How about you, Kail?
Growing up, being a Raider, I would always say I loved Keanu so much. Like I freaking idolized that guy. I loved Keanu. But I would say center wise, Jason Kelsey's always fun to watch. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. Lately, Zach Frazier, he plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mm-hmm. He's a rookie center. He played at West Virginia. He's a monster. I love watching his film. But growing up, really, I mean, growing up watching the Falcons, or I mean, just the Patriots. Tom Brady, I always loved Tom Brady. But I don't really like have a player I really grew up watching like that, like pro or college. Anything. I mean, Tim Tebow. You always hear the stories about Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
But growing up a Florida fan, like Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, that team, and what was that, 2020?
Yeah.
That was a fun team to watch when
That
they
was
played
a fun
Bama in
team,
the
yeah.
SEC championship.
Mhm.
That was a fun year to watch. Kadarius Toney was a cool player to watch.
Oh, yeah. Is the exterior of your home or business covered in dirt, mildew, or mold? Driveway or walkway stain? Pressure King can make your siding, deck, vents, and concrete look new again with no damage. Pressure King has cleaned the exterior of houses and businesses all over Sumter County area. Usually it takes less than a day and costs less than you would expect. Call AJ at 352-457-7209. I mean, there's several guys that I love to watch. The Gator. If they were a Gator, or, I mean, they're like I was telling somebody. Though I always try to pick one person from a team, even if I don't like them, or I don't want to say I don't like them, but I don't root for them or pull for them. I don't even watch them. You know what I mean? But there's always like my buddies were big University of Miami fans, and I would pick like the most random guy. I'm like, oh yeah, Nate Webster, that's my boy. Yeah. And they're like, I mean, he ended up going to the Bucks, and he was pretty good. He was a linebacker, but just random stuff like that, because I think everybody needs someone to look up to. But not only that, it also expands your. You're trying to give everybody a chance. So I think that's my way of dealing with it. I told Kendall, I said, Florida State. I don't like them, but there's a guy that I was like, Kenny Shaw. He was a wide receiver. I'm like, Kenny Shaw's my boy. And I'm actually trying to get him on a podcast, so it'd be fun to actually have him on the podcast and be like, hey man, yeah, you're the guy that I randomly selected from. I mean, it changes from year to year, but like whoever they have at the time, that I try to single out somebody and just be like, that guy's a beast, that guy's a dog. It's the same thing in NFL. You can't help but love Lamar Jackson. I mean, he's not a bad guy at all. I mean, he does so much, and it's hard to not root for him. I think one of the reasons why I said this to somebody the other day, I'm like, all these years I was against Tom Brady, and then not because I took away his credibility and his talent, but just because he won all the time. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see some. We all should get a piece of the pie, right? So I told somebody the other day, I'm like, Tom Brady. I remember when everybody hated Tom Brady. Now everybody hates Patrick Mahomes. Why?
Because he wins.
Because he always wins.
Man, I get it. I get that, but like, we should see somebody else win. But,
Right.
It's not their fault. I mean, they're winning.
No, and I get it, because growing up, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Yeah. And growing up in middle school, dude, they won. Out of the 3 years I was there at middle school, they won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. And I'm like, those were the best days, because I mean, they had a better team than everybody else. I mean, it wasn't just one person. Yeah, you had Hall of Famers that came out later on, and you didn't have that, the one guy that everybody, like, if you think about the Chiefs, you go, hey, name one guy on the Chiefs. Who's it going to be? It's either going to be Kelsey or Mahomes. That's it. Nobody else. They might say Chris Jones or somebody else like that. Yeah. They might, but they don't know anybody else. No, and then you get people that are like, that's Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Oh, don't get me started with that. That's a whole different.
That's all they can say. Because they don't know. So I try to, like I said, come up with someone, that way I can, if I'm talking to somebody, I always want to seem relevant. I'm like, do you know, hey, you like the Steelers? Well, yeah, and I know, Kenny Pickens or whoever it is, whoever's on there now, and go from there, and it helps to open up a conversation with somebody. If you don't, you don't want to be that person. You're like, oh, the Giants? I don't like the Giants.
Another person doesn't want to talk to you.
No, they don't want to talk to you at all. And it's like, well, you're not really doing anything if you can't accomplish even a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People will open up to you, and they'll.
Oh yeah.
And what's funny is 9 times out of 10, they're going to say something that you can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Always. You know, they'll say, "Oh yeah, you got to keep." It's like you got to keep digging for something to talk about, and then when you hit that thing, you're like, "All right, let's focus on that." And you're like Auburn. I don't know much about Auburn. Never been to a game, but I know about Bo Jackson. I know about Cadillac Williams. All these guys that played there. Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, what I mean, it's hard to talk to someone if you don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
You know. So what's the first thing you're looking forward to when you get, you know, everybody says when they get drafted, they're like they get that call and they're like, you know, hey coach, I'm ready to go to work. What's the first thing you would tell your coach?
Um,
I mean, I know you've already talked to him,
yeah.
but it's a little bit different. But what I'm saying is, if he were to call you right now and say, "Hey, man, are you good to go?"
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm saying, yeah, I'm ready. You know, but which I didn't get to play my senior year, so.
Oh, you're definitely ready. Then.
Yeah. Oh, which luckily we have spring ball early, so you know, getting there, which we have winter workouts first, but you know, I'm ready to put on those pads again. You know, it's been over a year since I've last played, put on pads, so which it's kind of hard, but you know, I'm gonna go in and I feel like I have a chance to start, so I'm gonna go in and go make something shake. You know, just that's what I say.
Right.
I got a chance, and I'm not gonna let that chance go away. You know, which everyone there is good, and which my dad said that. My dad teaches us both this. Wherever you're gonna go in college, there's guys like you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you go, because I mean, you're all the same. Like, you were a big fish in a little pond. Like, I heard that the other day, you know, and you're going into a big pond. Now you're the little fish, you know. And as a freshman, it's hard, you know. It's hard, and for Kail, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be hard for the both of us. I mean, but there's one thing that both of us can agree on, and it's our work ethic, you know. And I'm not trying to be cocky, but like that's what we've always.
That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I mean, you know, we're both gonna go in there with the chip on our shoulder, and go prove everybody that we can go, you know, go play. Right. Because I feel like we both can go play. Right. And make a difference.
That's true. Kail, what about you?
You know, with me reclassifying to 2025, I had a lot of doubt that I wasn't going to be ready to go. But, you know, my coach over at Auburn, Coach Thornton, he's been very positive with me and pushing me to, you know, tell me that I can do this and that I can make an impact early. So I would just say, I mean, I just appreciate him a lot, you know. I would just say, like Kaden said, I'm ready to go and prove a point that I can do this at a young age, and that I can make an impact. So
that's awesome. Well, just remember, guys, when you get in there, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, and you can't do everything at that one precise moment. It's going to take time. I think that's a lot of people have trouble with. They struggle with time. Like I said earlier, you know, when you hear the word no, they think of it as a bad thing. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with you're not ready. You know, say you get there and you don't play your freshman year. Yeah. That should just make you work twice as hard. Mm-hmm. You know, there's all these guys who have gone in there and have done things that nobody else would have thought they would have done. You know what I'm saying? And it all came down to a situation where someone told them they weren't good enough, or it didn't work out for them, and then instead of feeling sorry for themselves, they made it up for it by putting in extra work. And nobody has ever said, hard work doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
It's always
hard work gets you something.
It pays off.
Yeah.
It really does. And but how it pays off is perception.
Yep.
It's interpretation. You may not see it right away, but in 5 years, it's like an unanswered prayer. You know what I'm saying? You may be like, hey, man, I really want this job, but it's not time.
Yep.
Or, and what I'm saying is not your football career, but in your life. There's a guy, his name is, have you ever heard of Jocko? He does like inspirational stuff. I think he's ex-military, but if you get a chance to look it up, it's on YouTube, and it's just type in Jocko and good, because his explanation for everything is good. So basically, what he said was, he was in the military, and he said that he got orders to do something or whatever, or this or that, he was told something and it didn't work out. And so he was all kind of bummed out about it. And someone told him, you should just look at it as good. Because in the examples where he didn't get that new job, good. Because this might open another opportunity for you.
That's awesome.
You didn't get the promotion. You didn't get the grade you wanted, good. Don't think of it as a bad thing, as a negative thing. Think of it
it just makes you want to work harder.
Right. Put in the time, and it may not, like I said, it will work itself out, but it may not be your time.
Yeah.
But, and he just goes on. He's like, look, hey, this didn't work out. Good. That creates opportunities. This allows you to get better. You're doing your weight lifting. You didn't get the weight you wanted. You tried to do the power lift, or you were trying to get a certain goal. You didn't get it. Good.
Yep.
Because that creates, once you get it, you're satisfied.
Oh yeah.
And then you don't work as hard.
Isaiah Thomas, the younger one, the one that played for the Celtics, he always would post on like his Instagram and stuff. He would always hashtag slow grind on everything, and I took that heavily. Like when I first started playing basketball, it was rough because I was a big kid, and you have to be in shape to play basketball because you're running back and forth. And I would always remember those two words because I'm I used to be a big basketball geek, so I knew everything about everybody. So just seeing his Instagram posts about just slow grind, those two words, it meant a lot to me. And just not everything's gonna come. Like you're gonna work really hard on the daily, but it's not gonna come to you in one day. Like you said, Rome wasn't built in a day, so it's a slow grind.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple, but it means a lot.
Absolutely. Kaden, do you have any words of that you constantly in your head you're thinking, something that plays over in your head that motivates you? What motivates you to get up and ask, vice versa? What motivates you to ask him, or you to ask him to go work out or to put in that hard work?
So I like to put it as for the other guys that are getting overlooked. I was overlooked. I was always called sawed off. Too short.
Right.
Like, if you grew 2 more inches, I'd offer you right now.
Yeah.
You'd have all the offers in the nation.
Right.
And that's not what I want. I don't want all those offers. Like, offers don't mean anything to me. It's how I play. But I play for those guys that are 6 foot, my size, that get overlooked. Like, I play for those guys, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job, to where I am, and obviously I'm not done yet. I'm always unsatisfied. Like, there's always more that I can do. Right. Always. There's nothing. If I'm an All-American, freshman All-American, say that that's what I am. I'm not done.
Right.
I'm not going to be I'm a freshman All-American. Yep, that's who I am.
Yep.
No, I'm going to keep going. But I play for those guys, just those guys that get overlooked. And one day, hopefully I make it to the league, and prove a point where that those sawed off guys are those guys that got a chip on their shoulder and can play for the people that, those big guys that say that, oh yeah, I can build them how we want. Well, those guys like that are not 6'5". Why don't you take those? I mean, we don't know why, but I feel like I can make a name for myself and those guys, and that's what I do it for.
Well, you got to remember, that, like you said, you want to prove somebody wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to know who you are, and you want them to remember, all those times that I never got a chance. There's nothing better than proving somebody wrong.
Oh yeah,
especially when they say you can't do something.
Oh, and that's another thing. I have screenshots. Screenshots.
That's pure motivation.
Yeah,
right there.
and I look at them all the time.
Yep.
My dad sent them to me. He was like, just piss me off before a game.
Right.
Read them all.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to go show you what I can and can't do.
Yep.
I'm about to show you.
That's considered locker room material.
Yeah.
That's something that gets plastered on the old wall there before a game, and people get motivated by different things.
Yep.
But it's still motivation.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you need to have something tangible in front of your face that says, "Hey, look, you just aren't quite there yet."
Yeah.
Or whatever. I mean, it could.
That's what a coach actually said.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Well, listen, it's. I don't know if you ever got to hear about Jim Abbott.
I don't think
Jim Abbott. It was. He was a baseball player, professional baseball player, who was born with a deformed arm.
Yep.
So his arm. I've never really got to look at it to see exactly what it was. But he would throw, and he would have his glove on his hand, and he would throw. I forgot if he was left or right hand or whatever. Anyways, he throws, and he would slide the glove back on his hand.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, he went to the University of Michigan and played baseball, and there was a lot of things that they, you talk about limitations and stuff. And he was like, he ended up throwing a no-hitter.
Yeah.
He actually swung a bat and got several hits. And that's somebody that doesn't let a limitation or anything slow you down.
I don't let my size, I don't go pout,
Right.
Like, okay, well, so be it.
But you got to wonder, you're like, did he write his coach?
Yeah.
That probably said, you'll never amount to anything.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody that he was like, hey. But I think he was a much better person than that. He was like, let his actions speak for what he did, stand out and go, I'm sure he'll notice. He didn't have to say it, but what about you, Kail? What motivates you, like, mentally, or like Kaden said, do you have things that you look at and you go, hey, you know what, this is gonna fire me up before a game? Or do you just self-motivate yourself, or how does it work?
I'm pretty self-motivated, I would say, but I can't play super intense stuff before a game. I have to play loose, dancing around, like sing the song pre-game with my teammates. Just like, I have to play loose. I have to play go. I mean, especially at offensive line, you can't be worried about all that because you have to be communicating. You have to be talkative. So, I would say, I have to play loose. I'm more self-motivated. And one big thing that motivates me is like using comparisons with everything. Like I think comparison is the devil. Like it ruins everything. Like you see in the world of now with recruiting and with all the websites like 247 and On3 and Rivals and all that, you get caught in comparing yourself to other players, and it's a bad world to be in. You don't want to be comparing yourself to people like that. So I would say that's a big motivator to me, is like when I'm getting compared and getting bashed on by like other people. I would say I use that as my motivation. Like, so. Well,
if I can, and I've heard this, and it's really hard to do sometimes, but don't read the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Don't read the comments as much as you want to. Don't read the comments because it's only going to make it seem like it's worse than it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about someone who either A, doesn't know what they're talking about, or B, doesn't know you. And you know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yep.
That is someone their motivation is to make you feel less of a person or less motivated. So the advice I can give you is don't read the comments.
Yes, sir.
Just go to work, do what you do, and let your coach or coaches tell you how you're doing, because that's all that matters. They're the ones that are going to put you in, not these people that are on social media or whatever.
Yes, sir.
So I get that. I mean, and I experience that with this. I get comments all the time, and now the positive always outweighs the negative, but but it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna experience that. Don't let that negativity get in the way of what your real goal is.
Yes, sir.
And that's to be the best person you are, the best possible version. I tell my kids all the time, like, I want you to be the best possible version of yourself. All this time and effort getting you there is going to be well worth it one day if you're someone who can be the best possible version of themselves. So, guys, I really appreciate you coming over today, hanging out, and taking the time. And I want to wish you the best of luck on the upcoming season. And hopefully we'll see you out there. If you have to wait, remember, that's not a bad thing.
Nope.
But I wish you the best of luck. I will come see you play. I'll make a special note to.
We'll get you tickets.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, I used to tell Kiki this all the time. Like, I will buy my own ticket. I just want to see you.
Yeah.
I just want to see you, even if it's a quick handshake, whatever. Just to show you how proud we are of you. I think you do a great job. You're a positive role model for kids. That's another thing is that's important is, there are, whether you know it or not, there are eyes that are watching you too. Okay, especially where you are right now, and there are kids that want to be just like you. And whether or not you even want that to, you're like, oh, I didn't ask for that. Well, nobody asked for it. It just happens.
Yeah.
But just remember that how you carry yourself, and I know you come from good stock. Your families are great. So I know that you'll have no problem doing that, but just don't forget where you came from, where you're from, which I know you won't, but we are proud of you, and we can't wait to see what the future holds and what's in store for you guys.
Appreciate it.
So with that, guys, we're going to sign off, and that was Kaden and Kail Ellis joining me, talking about their signing and where they're going to go to school and everything. So, and we just appreciate all our support as we support our young student athletes. If you haven't liked or subscribed on YouTube or Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram, we'd appreciate it. Thank you for all the sponsors. Without this is not possible. So until next time, we'll see you guys.